agenda committee meeting back to order at 6:45 p.m. Yep. Do I hear a motion to suspend roll call by unanimous consent? Any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. The replacement agenda committee did not make any adjustments to the current appointment selection criteria. Okay. We will now move to deliberations. The committee will deliberate for no more than 3 minutes per open seat. Can I see the timer? There's 7 budgets, so it's 7 times 3, which is 21. Okay.
Max, not min.
21 minutes, starting now.
I'll go ahead and start. I think probably the interview that stuck out to me the most was Williams or Billy's. I just think he has a lot of passion, and I think that takes you really, really far when it comes to both Senate and student government. Along with that, I think he had really bold ideas, but still ideas that could be executed. I didn't think he had something that was too out of the box or too unfeasible. I think it's something that he could very explicitly do within the Senate, especially during the summer term. And like I said, I think his passion really speaks out to the work he wants to do on this committee.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also wanted to point out another great candidate. Logan Alexander did a great job during his interview, and I think that it's important to highlight the point that like the budget committee is practically starting from scratch at this point, just because of the summer attendance that it has. And so I think it's very important to get a kind of like experienced senator on the committee. I really enjoy his ideas, and I think that would be a great addition.
Another person I did want to touch on, I think it's just important in general to like understand that it does take a while for people to really understand the role of student government and the different inner and outer workings of it. I know like me personally, it's going to be a while to understand it as well. So I think we should take that into consideration, like if people are exactly ready to serve on these committees, or if they need, a few more weeks or another semester to make sure that they can accurately and effectively serve. I know Stephen, for example, he had a great interview, but I believe he did mess up the technical questions, so I don't believe he would be eligible to serve on this committee at this time.
I'm going to go ahead and highlight 2 people that I really enjoyed their interviews. One is Noah Disher. I think that he is truly one of the most motivated senators that we have this term. I mean, he's interviewed for a committee multiple times, and I think that like that kind of shows the dedication that he brings to the table. Loved his ideas, and I think that with his finance major, it's very applicable. And so I'd love to see him on the committee, as well as Tyler Tyson. I really, really enjoyed the energy that he brought to his interview. I think that even though it was one of our earlier interviews, it was a really refreshing kind of energy that he brought. And I think that obviously that is not like it's not a technical that he got right or wrong, but I also can recognize that with that energy, he brought a lot of knowledge to the table. And he's a replacement senator, so he's kind of coming into this brand new, but he did a lot of research. He brought up codes, and he brought up amendments that he already wants to make, even without being on the committee. And I think that is like truly one of the most impressive things that you can do when you're new to Senate, and especially as you're applying for a committee. So I think that Tyler Tyson deserves a spot on this committee.
Yeah, I definitely love Tyler as well. I've definitely kind of seen firsthand the inner workings of the finances that go through Freshman Leadership Council and the Bob Gwynn Graham Center, so it's definitely not easy to feed. So I think that would be some great experience that could be on this committee. Speaking of experience, kind of like you said, the Budget Appropriations Committee is starting from scratch, especially this summer. So I think someone with a lot of experience would be very helpful. I think Carlos and his experience clerking for over 8 hours on the committee this past semester kind of speaks to his passion for the committee and how much he really does want to serve effectively, and he's done the proper training and the proper preparation in order to do it well. I also think his ideas of seeing more student works at Budget Bash and making a more intentionally friendly database for students is something that really speaks to him wanting to serve the student body in the best way he knows how. So I would also love to see him on this committee.
Yeah, and then kind of my last highlight that I wanted to hit was Pujan Patel. I think even just looking at his resume, seeing that he worked on the Hill already and he's a rising sophomore, I think that that's such an impressive thing to have on your resume. I think that kind of his sentiment for the connection between committees was really good to hear, especially for budget. I think it's very easy to allow budget to be kind of like a standalone committee, and I think that his motivation to kind of connect it with the other ones, especially INC and some of the other committees, it's really important, and I love to hear that from this interview. So I think he would also be a great addition to the committee as well.
I agree completely.
I think all of the other applicants, or at least some of the other applicants that we didn't talk about yet, have messed up the technicals, and so obviously we will not be considering them, but we would love to see them come back and interview again if they can get those technicals a little bit more accurate. So,
Okay. Any more deliberations for the budget committee? Hearing none, we're going to move into deliberations for let's do the Judiciary Committee. On how much time do we have? How many people apply?
there is 3 open seats, so that's 9 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, 9 minutes starting now.
Yeah, I can speak on Gavin. He seemed incredibly passionate about what he was doing. He had a co-job that I thought was really good, and I mean, he literally had idea after idea at the time. I think passion is something that Jewish needs right now, and I think he'd be a great fit for it.
I really enjoyed Emma Stein's interview for Judish. I think that kind of her recognition, or like her understanding of the Judiciary Committee kind of being a very unique position to be in at the University of Florida as a whole. It was really, again, kind of like a refreshing thing to hear someone kind of like really understanding that. And so I think that kind of her appreciation for the committee itself kind of, it draws to her strengths as a pre-law student, and kind of like her motivation as seeing this as an opportunity to get involved. But I also really liked how she wanted to increase transparency. I think that I agree with her that the Judiciary Committee can sometimes seem a little like mystic to the outside eye, but I think that her kind of like wanting to increase transparency and demystify the happenings of the Judiciary Committee is really good. So I'd love to see her on the committee as well.
Yeah, I agree with both of you all. Kind of looking back at my notes here, I believe that the rest of the people that applied for this committee did mess up the technical questions. So again, I'd like to see them apply again for this committee seat when they, maybe learn more or do some more research on this specific committee. But at this time, I don't believe they're eligible for the committee.
Yeah, and then there's also some people that applied to the Judiciary Committee, but also applied to other committees, and I just think that they're better fits for the other committees as well. So just kind of keeping that in mind too, just because we're not saying something positive about someone right now doesn't mean that we're not going to later. So.
Any more deliberations? Okay. Hearing none, we're going to move into deliberations for R&E. We have 5 open seats, right?
Yes.
15.
I want to start with John Petros. I think that his journey into Senate has been a long one, but a well-deserved one now that he's at this point. I think that his focus on accountability, being a big part of his involvement, kind of ties back to him being an incredible candidate for the Rules and Ethics Committee. I think his experience in Flex, the legal chair for his fraternity, and his ideas were awesome as well. So I think that he's one of the most deserving for Arnie. I would love to see him on the committee.
I definitely agree. I definitely have a bit of a soft spot for him, so I really like hearing his interviews, and he always does a great job. I'd also like to talk a little bit about Joseph. My perspective on him is I do think he'd have a lot to learn in this committee, which is actually why I would love to see him see what he could do and see what he would bring to the R&D committee. I think during his interview he did show a lot of passion. I think he also showed a lot of experience, different perspectives that we don't typically see on the committee, but I think we could benefit from. I do think he has a passion and knack for making sure that student government stays transparent and continues to communicate with both the rest of the chamber and the student body as well. And I'd like to see him bring that into this specific committee.
We didn't have a lot of applicants for Arnie.
Yeah.
Those ones were great.
Okay, are you done with deliberations then?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the Information and Communications Committee. There's 6 open seats, so you get 18 minutes. Starting now.
I can start. I wanted to first start with Kendall. I think she, her reason for joining Senate, and then of course, why she applied for this committee. I think she came in for all the right reasons. Of course, wanting to help the student body, and also wanting to meet new people and expand her own personal and professional skills. I think that stuck out to me. Again, I think she's very passionate about representing her college, and she has a lot of experience like working with groups and leading projects, as well as improving communication, which I think is the main cusp of the INC committee, not only improving communication within the Senate, but also within the student body as well, making sure that there's a clear and concise way to understand that what we're doing in the chamber. And I think her experience and her passion will lead her to be successful on this committee if she's chosen.
And then I'll talk about book Beaty real quick. I thought she had a really good interview. She definitely touched up about like community collaboration a lot, and then she had very good experiences. But unfortunately, she did get the technicals wrong for Judiciary, so I think that INC would be a good place for her because I think she does have she will bring a lot of experience in the committee if she joins.
We had a whole bunch of applicants for INC.
Such a great committee.
Okay, moving into our next deliberations. Permanent seats will get 3 minutes for Beaty. Starting, right?
Yep.
Starting now.
There was a couple of applicants to the BBC actually, which is rare, but I do want to highlight Sarah Colton. I thought she had a great interview. I actually really liked her idea of building for satellites. I know that she specifically said it for Beaty, but I think that this is kind of an initiative that she could even work on, like campus-wide with the dorms. I think it would be kind of something hard to do, but I think it would be something great for especially students that live in dorms to kind of have more access to Field and Fork Pantry. But that idea kind of stuck out to me. Of course, she has some great experience, very hands-on with student government, and really wants to serve the student body. But if anyone else wants to add on, I thought she was great.
I was just going to talk about Miriam Hassan. I thought her interview was pretty good, but I just kind of felt like her ideas were very generic. I think she could definitely develop her ideas a little bit more because she just kind of talked about like, oh, like I want to make people feel more represented, but she didn't really put down any like concrete stuff as to how. So I think she was a good candidate, but she needs to develop her ideas a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Miriam even had some great ideas, but I will say, like, I wanted to hear a little bit more confidence from her. I think that she went into the interview a little bit nervous, and, like, that's totally fine. We all get nervous during interviews, but she had some great points, and so if she just came at it with a little bit more confidence, I think that it would have just been a little bit more well-received and a little bit better delivered.
Okay, is that all?
That's it.
Okay, moving on to the next open seat. The class open seat, correct?
Yes.
And then there's only one, so it's 3 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. 3 minutes for the paper.
For this one, I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about Katie Heller. The biggest thing that stuck out to me with her is her experience for sure. I think this specific seat, serving as a class senator, there's a lot of different constituents that you have to serve, and it's definitely not a cookie cutter position, and I think she hits all of those different perspectives very, very well. I mean, looking at her resume alone, you can tell she just has bundles and bundles of experience, which I really do appreciate, and then on top of that, being able to do something with that experience, with the passion that she has, and wanting to share the passions of the College of Arts and Sciences and uplift the community as well, I think really speaks to some of the great work that she would do in the Senate. So I do think she would succeed very well in this seat.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit a couple people in a row, just because there were so many people that applied. One that I do want to talk about is actually, I want to further emphasize Kaylee. I think that just her experience really stood out to me. She has a wide range of experiences at UF, and just kind of hearing that gave me a little bit more confidence that she'd be even better able to kind of represent her constituents, just because outreach is a lot easier when you're kind of like spread out over campus. I also wanted to really quickly highlight Tyler Sklar's interview. I thought he did a great job. I think that there was a lot of passion and a lot of work put into his interview. I did want to see just a little bit more of like that kind of official experience. There was a lot of like kind of self-teaching, but I would have loved to see just a little bit more of that official experience as well. And then I also wanted to highlight, oh gosh, I just lost it. Danielle Williams. I think that she did a great job of talking about kind of mentorship within Senate. I think that that's really important. I mean, everyone kind of knows me personally. I love mentorship, and I think that's a very important aspect of student government. I think that uplifting others is just like a great thing to highlight. And so I think that just like her experience in SG during high school is great, but again, I wanted to see a little bit more of that like official experience on the resume and things like that.
I would also like to add, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are like a lot of people that apply for CLAS that also apply for different seats.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. I mean, there's literally 19 people showing up from the area. That's insane.
Yeah, 41 hits.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aaron Farias, I really want to highlight him. I feel like he had some great real world experience. This is kind of like on the other end of what I'm talking about. I think he had some great real world experience, but I think kind of like his idea of the purpose of student government, like student government, is tied to kind of his idea of like the U.S. government and the Florida government, and I think it is just like, oh no.
Okay, moving on to the graduate open permanent seat. There's one open. Oh wait, no. There's 3 open seats, right?
But only one of them got applied for.
One that applied. Okay, so I'll give you all 3 minutes starting now.
I mean, it's Ollie.
Yeah.
He's been doing this. He's great.
Actually, yeah, I thought he was great.
I mean, there's not much else to say. Like his initiatives that he's already worked on and completed, and the ones that he is currently working on and looking to do, like he's done a great job and he will continue to do so. So I'm not worried about Ollie essentially getting his seat back for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be 10 other people.
Yeah.
So probably.
And no one else can, so I think he's fine.
Okay, moving on. The next open seat
Logan, I'm sure that would be. I should have shared you that.
the Broward-Rawlings area. There's one open seat.
Oh yeah, it's actually yeah.
Deliberations.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will leave that open. Or no, sorry.
3 minutes. Yeah. I can talk about Sila. I think she did a great job. I think her motivation was really good. With like being involved in leadership positions, being out of state. And I think that like her high school experience was really good. I would like to see a little bit more experience kind of at UF or outside of it professionally. I think that she did a great job during her interview, but I think that just kind of developing her ideas would also be really helpful as well.
Yeah, I think her ideas are like super related to Broward-Rawlings, so I just don't think it was like I'd like to see more ideas.
Okay, any more deliberations? Okay. Next is Cal Summer A replacement seat. How many? There's just one open seat, right? So 3 minutes.
very much echoes a lot of people that are already in the chamber. So I think she'd be a very efficient, effective person to work with. I liked the different perspective that she had, especially being an out-of-state student and being passionate about wanting to help more students with the transition. And then also her experience, as a preview staffer and learning about empathy and advocacy through working with different medical fields and medical organizations, I think also provided a different perspective that we definitely would appreciate within the chamber. So I really did like her as a candidate.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep harping on experience. I think that Jonathan Wu was also a great applicant. I think that his motivation was great, love for UF and like wanting to leave an impact. I think if we were to have to compare, which we do, between the two applicants, him and Mary, I think that like they have a very good motivation. They both have a very good like set of ideas. I think when it comes down to the experience, Mary just has a little bit more of a well-rounded experience at UF, and kind of has like a little bit more reach to other student groups on campus. So yeah, if I could put everyone in the seat, I would.
Deliberations. Moving on to the next seat.
I have personal privilege for
Yeah.
tonight. Flip seats to the back because my computer's on.
Yeah.
You would not be used to it.
Good luck.
Just slightly less full. Seat feels higher.
Okay, so we just did Cal, Summer A, so now we're gonna do Class, Summer A. There's one open seat, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so we're gonna do 3 minutes of deliberation starting now.
I think one of my favorite applicants of the day for this seat was definitely Cindy Woodruff. I like to look at she served as the community outreach director for Leaders Going Green, and just kind of looking at how that committee and that agency kind of flipped on its head this year. And knowing that she was a part of that, kind of flipping part of that change, really does speak to her work ethic and her passion for student government and for, helping the different areas on campus. I would love to see her put that work ethic into the student senate and the things that she wants to do. I also think she does provide a perspective with her environmental advocacy. That's definitely something we don't always hear within these interviews, but hearing her bring that up and hearing her be so clearly passionate about it makes me interested to see what she would do with it if she was chosen as
Law class applicants that didn't show up.
I believe Safer, I liked her, but I thought her experiences were a little bit light. She kind of just drew a lot off of preview staffing, which there's nothing really wrong with that, but I mean, obviously we have one open seat, and when you put people not against each other, I thought City's experience was maybe better fit her.
Again, so many applicants. This is very poisonous. I want to actually further emphasize Sydney. I think that I really liked her interview. I think that she was just very motivated and like she just like, and I know she's on the phone, but I just feel like she was a very like team, like collaborative person just based off the way she was kind of talking about her ideas and her experiences. I think that like her experience that she's going to be the computer chair for Panhellenic, like that is leading a large team of people, and being able to kind of collaborate in that aspect is so important when coming into Senate, and I think that her experience in that is going to really add to the Senate chamber as a whole. What else we got? Show up.
Weird one class.
Wait, no. The engineering summer review placement seat. There's one open seat, so you get 3 minutes to vote, right? Start on that.
We're just not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we said this last meeting, going into the summer, but
Yeah.
we're just not gonna hear some of these seats until
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry. But that was great. It was awesome.
Okay, moving to the next seat. Off-campus summer A replacement seats. There's 2 open seats, you get 6 minutes starting now.
Let me talk about Brooke Reese. I think her experience at UF has been very, very good. With especially her focus on transparency within student government, I think that is something that we hear a lot, but I think that her ideas, the way that she kind of expanded them, and like kind of explained about the granular aspects of student government and kind of making them accessible to people who may not be in SG. I think that's really important, and again, like I think it's a silly word, but I like using it. Like kind of demystifying student government, because there's just so much about it that people are like, oh, I'll never understand that. But I think that if you were to make that information accessible, it's really not that hard. So I really liked her idea.
I think she has a really unique perspective to the chamber. I mean, DJ business.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
sure that's maybe ever been mentioned on it, so I think that's a really cool thing to have.
It's a professional. I'd also like to add that I think, especially during the summer, it's important to get many experienced bodies as you can, especially with so many new senators and so many replacement senators. Things get really confusing. And I know new senators really appreciate it when they have people that they can rely on, people that they can come to with questions or concerns or anything like that. So I did want to touch on Pedro's experience a little bit, with him serving as a replacement senator last summer and even passing legislation, him already having that experience and, wanting to come back and do even more with that, really speaks to his passion for student government and, his understanding of what we do, perform in the chamber, which I think can be really effective, especially this summer.
There's just a lot of people that I want to put in summer seat. So I'm gonna wait. I want to save them.
There's definitely a lot that would be better for summer.
Yeah.
The summer seat replacement seats for off-campus. We have 6 open seats, so you guys get 18 minutes starting now.
I want to do Abilene. I loved her interview. This was when we were starting to get to the end of the day and like everything was going a little slower. And she was one interview that kind of like made me perk my head up and made me listen really well. I thought she was so well spoken, and like while that's not necessarily something that like you have to be in Senate, I think that it definitely helps more people listen when you're well spoken, and it's easier to kind of communicate your ideas. And I just really loved her energy as well. And she has such unique experiences, especially outside of UF. I mean, obviously she was a previous staffer, which you love that. But also kind of like her policy making experience, volunteering at juvie and like wanting to be a forensic child psychologist, like that is just such a unique perspective to bring to the Senate chamber. And again, like I can't remember who I said it about before, it's gone. But like bringing this perspective really does help the whole Senate chamber, and so I think that she would be an incredible addition to Senate.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I know you said like, and it's true, like you don't have to be a fantastic public speaker to be part of Senate, but I do think you have to have really good communication skills and be really personable if you're willing to, collaborate and communicate with others. And I think, the second she sat down, she asked about our day, and she, tried to start a conversation with us to kind of break the ice a little bit. And even though, that was just a small thing to, maybe ease her nerves, ease our nerves about the interview, it definitely made the impact that she was hoping to make. So I would love to see her in the chamber as well. Someone I'd also really like to see is Jonathan Robson. I think his motivation really spoke to me, making an impact on the people around him and acting on the frustrations, especially for off-campus students. I really like when candidates come in and they don't just generalize, they want to serve the student body as a whole, but they really want to serve their specific constituents. And he seemed very specifically interested about off-campus students. So I think his advocacy and the different actions he would take within the chamber would be tailored towards them, and I really think the off-campus constituents would appreciate that.
Yeah, and then another person I really liked was Beaty. I thought that his experiences were really good. He said he was interning at the city of Jacksonville, which that's a pretty impressive resume point. And then additionally, his ideas were very focused on like mental wellness and kind of like bringing together the off-campus community, which as an off-campus person myself, I think is super important because I know there's a lot of people like kind of the alienated apartments and stuff like that. So I think he would be a great addition to this.
One other person I wanted to talk about as well was Xavier Hansen. I know he has a lot of experience, especially with student government as a former agency head, not only an agency head, but also chief of staff. So, you know, his experience is definitely something to appreciate, and I definitely believe he does want to see more of this done for the student body. I would just love for him to kind of elaborate a bit more of his ideas and what he would do in the chamber. I know he said he wanted to see more resources for incoming students, but I would love to see him be a little more specific about how he would do that. And I think once he would do that, I would love to see him come back and interview.
Did someone talk about Jonathan already?
Yeah.
Okay, he was great.
I do want to talk about Stephanie Carvalho as well.
Yeah.
I think she was really passionate too. Again, I think she provides a different perspective, especially I think we go into the student senate, you get a lot of, you know, political science majors and business majors coming from a poli-sci major myself, you know, not to hate it myself, but I do love when, you know, healthcare majors come in and talk about their experience with, you know, healthcare and medicine, how they want to bring that and kind of interconnect their two passions. So I thought this person would be a great addition as well. I like their idea of implementing more CPR and life-saving initiatives. I think that's something that students could take, not only within, you know, their time here at the University of Florida, but also when they leave the campus as well, and being like, oh yes, like UF student government is the reason why I know how to do these things, the reason why I'm more successful in my field. I think that's a really great idea that you don't typically see.
Just a couple of names that I wanted to highlight that I thought their interviews were really good. Saya, Daniela, who else? I think Annie also applied for this one. Yeah. I really liked their interview. I think that they just could have kind of expanded on their ideas more. A lot of their ideas were just kind of like, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and I wanted to hear more about how they were gonna work through Senate to do that. I think that's just kind of an important part of the idea question, is to see like, okay, like you could do that as an everyday person, how are you gonna do that through Senate? But they had great interviews, so I did want to highlight that.
Finally, 3 minutes for the sophomore summer A replacement seat, starting now.
Yeah, I can speak on this one. I believe she was the only sophomore summer replacement A to apply, but I think she is very well experienced. She mentioned that she was interning with the state rep and going door to door to campaign and like ask, you know, what could be done better for, like basically talking to constituents. I think that's something that we could probably do a little bit better within Senate, so I think that's a good person to add. She also kind of mentioned like a like number or email hotline to help people like prepare their resumes and prep for interviews, which I think is really good. So yeah, I think she would be good to see.
No, there's no one.
Oh yes. Yes. Annie Permanent Broad as well. I really liked I liked her interview as well. I know she talked about how she was involved in student government in high school, and she was very interested in kind of getting to know the decision-making process throughout the school, because I know it can be very kind of nuanced and unique when it comes to our school specifically. So I think her being willing to take initiative to kind of learn about those things and make a difference in their whole community is something that speaks volumes. I did appreciate her experience, with previous staff. I know with different previous staffers, they definitely have a lot of experience communicating with both students and administration as well. So I think that was a great thing to touch on. One thing I do wish is I wish she had a bit more of an understanding of the Senate. I think she'd benefit from doing a little bit more research on, what we can and can't do. Maybe looking through the codes and looking through different legislation that we've passed in the past, and then possibly consider applying again. But that's my personal opinion.
Seeing as there's no other open seats, that is the end of the deliberation process, and we'll move into candidate nominations.
I move to nominate Billy Folk for the Budget Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Logan Alexander for the Budget Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Noah Disher for the Budget Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Tyler Tyson for the Budget Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Carlos Salas for the Budget Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Pujan Patel for the Budget Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to table the final seat for the Budget Committee by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Kendall Longwater for the INC committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Brooke Beaty for the INC committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
And I move to table the remaining open INC committee seats by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Joseph Santone for the Army committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate John Petros for the Army committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
And I move to table the remaining open Army committee seats by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Gavin Ransom for the Judiciary Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Emma Stein for the Judiciary Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
And I move to table the remaining open judiciary seats by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Sarah Courtney to the open permanent Beaty seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Kaylee Keller for the open permanent College of Liberal Arts and Sciences seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Ali Mahmoudi for the open permanent graduate seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to table the open summer senior replacement seat for Beaty Broward-Rawlings by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Mary Montgomery for the open summer A replacement seat for Cal's by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Sydney Holderman for the open summer A replacement seat for Cal's for class by unanimous consent.
Wait, can you repeat that motion?
I move to nominate Sydney Olderman for the open summer A replacement seat for class by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to table the open summer B replacement seat for engineering by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to nominate Brooke Reese for the open summer A replacement seat for off-campus by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Pedro Rubio for the open summer A replacement seat for off-campus by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Evelyn Thompson for the open summer C replacement seat for off-campus by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Jonathan Robson for the open summer C seat for off-campus by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Canola Carr for the open summer C replacement seat for off-campus by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Stephanie Carvalho for the open summer C replacement seat for off-campus by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to nominate Summer Fallbaum for the open summer A replacement sophomore seat by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
And I move to add a special rule for the open replacement seat nominations to be heard as a block by unanimous consent.
Say again?
Yeah, say it again.
I move to add a special rule for the open replacement seat nominations to be heard as a block by unanimous consent.
That's fine.
Okay. Any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Wait, just to clarify, that motion was to make the open summer replacement seats heard as a block?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
I move to add the nomination for Tristan Kashabi as
No,
the
good,
student
good.
civic and honor agency head to the agenda by unanimous consent. Thanks, Tom.
Are there any objections?
It's
Oh,
just
wait.
Kajabi.
Kajabi.
So, wait, just to clarify, Majority Party Leader,
Alexander.
Majority Party Leader Alexander just added all of the candidates from the Replacement and Agenda Committee interviews today, and now he is adding.
Oh wait, let's wait until agenda to do that.
Well, we're moving to agenda. We
Okay.
never moved to agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see now. I see now.
Okay, so now we're moving to the agenda section. Can you rescind your motion?
I rescind.
I
Okay.
rescinded.
So rescind any of the motions because it seems like you meant to put those on the agenda, correct? Okay. Okay, so now we're moving into the agenda portion. Okay, so anything anyone wants to add to the agenda?
I move to add the nomination for Tristan Kajabi as the student civic and honor agency head to the agenda by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Isaac Jean to the diversity cabinet co-chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Navia Shah to the diversity cabinet co-chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Melinda Linsky to the disability affairs cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Ryla Mitchell to the interfaith affairs cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Donna Finazzo to the international affairs cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Osna Oliva to the LGBTQ plus affairs cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Sophia Phillips to the women affairs cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Caitlin Newman to the leadership development cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Jordan Heller to the community and service cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Kaylin Sue to the life skills cabinet chair position by unanimous consent.
objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Max Glassman to the Emerging Technologies Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Catherine Smith to the Leadership Ratings Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Could you repeat that motion, please?
I move to add the nomination of Catherine Smith to the Leadership Readiness Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Sarah Bukowski to the Student Government Engagement Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Sacha Mario to the Career Development Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Chloe Tolton to the Student Life Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Garrison Bahan to the Finance Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Sienna Pomeranc to the Greek Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Haley Sejpal to the Health and Wellness Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Ethan Brown to the Housing Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Sebastian Rojas to the Veterans Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Pete Bennett to the Orange and Blue Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Charlotte Payne to the Transition Cabinet Co-Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add Jack Pereira to the Transition Cabinet Co-Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Alessandra Vasquez to the First Gen Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Gavin Newman to the Special Admissions Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Siegel Weissman to the First Year Experience Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Soleil Mejia to the Transfer Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Adam Bergman to the Graduate Student Affairs Cabinet Chair position by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add the nomination of Brianna Menendez to the Out of Student Affairs Cabinet Chair
Oh,
by
yeah.
unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Yeah, I move to add a special rule for the Cabinet Director nominations to be heard as a block.
Wait, the one thing I did want to clarify, one of the cabinet director positions you might have said slightly wrong. I could just be overthinking it, so I want to make sure that your motion is actually a valid one that you can say.
True.
For the multicultural affairs cabinet, am I crazy? Did you say something else?
I don't know, but I just make it again.
Okay,
Just
so
make sure.
if you could rescind that motion and make it again, I'm pretty sure you might have not said multicultural affairs cabinet.
I move to rescind my motion about the Chelsea Bichette.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I move to add the
Accept.
nomination of Chelsea Bichette to the Multicultural Affairs Cabinet Chair position.
Okay, and are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
And before we keep going with motions on the agenda, I just want to clarify for the record, for viewers at home, the members of the committee received their application materials through an email, and these are being added as nominations per the codes. So, just so everyone knows. Continue.
Alright, okay, so I move to add a special rule for the open permanent seats to be heard as a block. Consent.
Hearing none, that motion passes.
What?
What?
You didn't ask me for it.
Are there any objections? Sorry. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add a special rule for the cabinet director nominations to be heard as a block by consent.
Are there any objections? objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add a special rule for the budget committee seats to be heard as a block by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add a special rule for the INC committee seats to be heard as a block by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add a special rule for the R&E committee seats to be heard as a block by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add a special rule for the Judiciary Committee seats to be heard as a block by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to add all absences to the agenda by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Alright, and then I move to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent.
Did we do everything?
Well, we need to set the time and date.
I was gonna say, there's gotta be missing something.
That's a good idea.
Rescind.
So, get rid of that.
Rescind.
I rescind the previous motion.
Okay.
Set time, date, and place.
Okay.
Wait, I can just do that.
Yeah.
Forget. I move to set the time, date, and place of all of these summer term Senate meetings, that's summer, maybe, collectively see, to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays in the Rights Union Senate Chamber by unanimous consent.
Yes. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Was that it? We did noms, we did all of our noms, we did presidential noms, we did vice presidential noms, we did our noms, we did time, date, place,
Yep.
absences even though there are none.
That's great.
I think that's it, right?
Look at my oversight.
I mean, we'll find out. I think so.
Alright, we good?
Let's do it. Send it.
I move to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. I move to adjourn this meeting at 7:37 p.m. Are there any objections?
38.
Sorry, 38 p.m. Are there any objections?
No.
Hearing none, that motion passes.